Hey everyone, this is Geeky Vices. This is J-Belle with apparently a cameo by Jazz. Boom. I can see, but you guys can't, but yeah, he's here. But anyways, this is where I talk about random bits of pop culture and geekdom that I've been into lately. The general vibe is unedited, unrehearsed, and unhip, so I don't focus necessarily on what's the latest and greatest, but whatever random bit of interest sparks my attention, or I guess captures my attention is better wording. But yeah. And to warn you guys that for my topic of the week, there are probably going to be some spoilers. I try not being heavy on the spoilers, but there are definitely some light spoilers. So if you want to go in with completely open mind, watch my content after you've enjoyed my topic of the week. So anyways, this week I'm going to be talking about watching Hunter x Hunter. So this is an anime which I haven't finished yet. I don't know how many seasons there actually are, but I have started watching it before, and then I stopped, and I randomly decided to start watching it because I think it was taken down from Netflix and then put back up. I think they added dubbing since, but this is one of the few animes where I very much need to watch it subtitled. Like, usually I am not very strong on the subbing versus dubbing argument. I am perfectly fine with a good dub. In fact, sometimes I prefer it because I can then focus my attention on other things versus a sub requires my full attention because I can't listen and do something else. I have to actually be sitting and reading those fun little subtitles. And honestly, a lot of times I like having, if I'm watching a dub, a lot of times I still like having the English subtitle sounds. That way I can kind of compare and contrast as it's going along what the subbing was saying versus what the dubbing was saying. So yeah, it's sometimes interesting. Like sometimes like the content's very similar and it's just a matter of like just word choice to make the mouth flaps work better. Other times it's different enough where it's kind of interesting to follow both tangents. But anyways, the premise of this world is that I would say the vibe of it is picture Dragon Ball. I would say not DBZ level of crazy powers, but I would say Dragon Ball level where it's like there are some crazy powerful people. There's kids who are running around doing crazy things, but there's also adults, and the kids will sometimes have to fight adults, and that there's lots of random creatures like dinosaurs, and there's Chimera ants later on, which happens later, in which I never finished that arc. But there's also like kind of like the capsule corp type of technology where it's like there's futuristic technology, but it's not like over the top crazy. So I would say that's like a close analogy to the vibe of the world. My mind slightly goes Pokemon, even though I know it's not at all the right tone, but I think it's just probably also the kind of like crazy creatures and such out in the world, and lots of very eccentric characters, and kids like going off in the world and basically doing adult things on their own, like kids being totally okay, like earning a living at age like, I mean, the main characters are both age 12, like earning a living and off on their own. But I would say totally not Pokemon, but like just for some reason that crossed my mind and I was trying to figure out the right tone for it. I think it's also because it definitely strikes me as little, like as a younger boy targeted show. I don't know the terms. I know with anime there's very distinct terms for whether an anime is targeting girls or boys or if it's both. Like I know most of the magical girl animes are very much like supposed to be targeting girls, and I definitely feel like this one's definitely targeting boys, especially since there's so few. As far as the major characters go, there aren't that many female characters, but that honestly doesn't bother me. I don't need to have a female character related to it in order to enjoy a show. That's just me. I'm comfortable enough with my female identity to not have to have someone I relate to in everything I see. But that's just me. Anyways, the premise of the show, back to on topic, is that it's this crazy world where, as I said, there's like some crazy dangerous things. There's there's mafia, and there's crazy bandits, and there's like, I mean, death is definitely a thing. So that's why I said totally it's not like Pokemon. Characters do die. Characters can die pretty gruesomely. But, and some of the major characters do kill people. But, there are some people who will travel trying to get, like, go explore the farthest part of the world, or go after the craziest bounties, or do all these crazy jobs. They are this profession, hunters. And they have a hunter's license that you have to pass this crazy exam. Like, you have to go through all these hurdles just to even find where the exam is that year. And then there's several phases of the exam, and it's pretty common for people to die during the hunter's exam. So, and every year the rules are different and what the tasks are. And there's some people who, when they're trying for the hunters, I mean, there's some characters that we meet who, there's a person who has the record for most times entering the hunter's exam, and that's 30 times. So, it's just, some people will keep on trying and not do it. Other times, it's pretty uncommon for a rookie to make it, but I'll get into that. But yeah, like, once you have the hunter's license, though, I mean, you can basically get, like, use public facilities. You basically, like, have, like, room and board. You can travel to, like, a lot of, like, to most countries and to, like, most of the forbidden places, and you can take, like, I mean, basically, you can just live off it. You can be a lazy bastard after getting it and, like, just live comfortably, but most people, like, then, like, pursue some sort of, like, higher purpose for themselves. And the thing is that there isn't a moral, there's not an integrity or ethics part component of it. It's just not like if you're able to endure, like, the mental and the luck and the physical and other elements stuff. But basically, like, there's no, like, some of the people who pass the hunter's exam, they're clearly not good people. I mean, they killed a lot of the other contestants to get to the point where they do pass it. But as I said, like, that's probably what makes it interesting. But the thing is that people can sell their hunter's license for tons of money, but they'll never begin the replacement one. And they can also access a website that's only for hunters and, like, basically pay money for information. So, like, there's a lot of benefits to being a hunter. And anyways, so that's just the background. The main character is Gon, who is totally a Goku as character. Like, I didn't realize it, but yeah, he totally is. Like, if Dragon Ball Goku and Gon met, they would totally be friends. He's totally, like, one of the, like, super physically, like, fat. I mean, he's fast and he's strong and he has really good physical senses, especially senses smell, and he kind of has this innocence about him. I mean, he's not, like, strong. He's not, like, being like, oh, this is good, this is bad. It's just he has he's kind of curious, and he kind of just accepts things as they are, but he also has a very strong sense of loyalty, and for him, his own sense of honor. Like, he isn't like someone, like, taking pity on him, for instance, and he is stubborn to a fault about certain things, and he can definitely take a beating. And the thing that's interesting is, like, in the early seasons especially, his weapon is a fishing pole. So just to give an idea of, like, the type of character he says, like, he's totally a Goku-esque personality, and, like, he definitely loves challenging himself and seeing things through and all that. And so, like, he's very loyal to his friends, and he's a 12-year-old. And the thing is that when he was a baby, he was abandoned by his father to be taken care of by basically his father's cousin, so his aunt is what he calls her, and raised on Whale Island. And so he's basically raised in the wilderness by himself, like, without any kids to play with. And his father abandoned him to continue pursuing being a hunter. And so he wants to be a hunter to find, like, oh, this must be this amazing thing that I'm curious why my dad thought this was so amazing that he thought this was more important than raising me. So there's not bitterness to it. It's just that he wants to find a staff. I think it's more so a curiosity thing, and also, like, a self-challenge. Anyway, so that's Gon, main character. Along the way, in order to even get there, he meets Kurapika and Leorio. I'm going to probably start saying their names with less of the proper accents, but whatever. Leorio He looks like he's a middle-aged guy, but apparently he is just as much. Oh, everyone can see Jazz again. My lovely tuxedo kitty, who can't. Thankfully, isn't being too bratty because it's his dinner time. But anyways, Leorio is pretty strong, and he's probably the one that's like. He's kind of. I'm trying to think of a good analogy. I guess he's like Yamcha. Like, I used to use the analogy of this person is the Krillin of the group, because until Dragon Ball Supers came out, like, Krillin was the person who was, like, with the group, but he is clearly outstripped by everyone. But then in Dragon Ball Super, which I have not kept up with, I only know the broad brushstrokes about what's happened with Dragon Ball Super, but how, like, Krillin definitely proved himself to be more badass and worthy than I used to give him credit for. So I no longer say, like, someone's the Krillin of the show. I now say they're the Yamcha, where it's like, yeah, they're better than, like, an average person, but they're clearly not in the same league as all these crazy, super powerful people are. So yeah, he's basically, but yeah, he wants to do the Hunter's exam, have enough money to go to medical school and run a free clinic, because he had a friend who passed away because he couldn't afford medical care. So that's him. He's pretty, what you see is what you get kind of guy. He's the one who is, he's not as physically tough as the rest of the characters. He's not as clever or insightful, but you know what? He's a good enough guy, and he butts heads with Kurapika a lot. Kurapika is very androgynous looking. Like, honestly, when I first saw him, I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman, but he basically comes from this clan, the Kurta clan, who were exterminated because when they feel strong emotions, their eyes turn scarlet, and so the Phantom Troop, this group of bandits, decided to steal all the scarlet eyes as trophies. So he's the last of his clan. He basically wants to get the hunter's license, that way he can travel to places he needs to get the resources he needs to go after the Phantom Troop, and also to basically get all the eyes back of his people. So that's, I mean, he is honorable to a fault. Like, he'll be stubborn. It's like, no, I do not. So he has a very strong sense of what honor is. He's definitely, I would describe him as being kind of like Kurama from Yu Yu Hakusho, where it's like he is the person who is very clever and very good at, like, strategy and figuring things out. Like, he's definitely very smart. He is tough. He's not the toughest in the group, but he is a worthy opponent. And, like, I really like Kurapika, and, like, Kurapika very quickly gets impressed with Gon, with not only, I think, his integrity and, like, his determination and just tenacity, but also like his skills. So, like, yeah, he's definitely, like, at the end of the hunter's exam, they ask when they get through these personal interviews where everyone's asked, which person are you looking out, which candidate are you keeping an eye out on, which one would you not want to fight? And he said for positive reasons he's keeping his eye out on Gon. I'll go into who he's looking at, and the person he was keeping an eye on for negative reasons was Hisoka, who I'll go into because he is an important character. And then the last part of the main group is Killua, who is also a 12-year-old boy who's doing the hunter's exam, and he immediately just wants to be friends with Gon because they're both the same age, and he's, I think, immediately, like, impressed by Gon. Like, Gon is just very, what you see is what you get with him. Like, he doesn't have any, what's the right word? He doesn't have any facades to him, I guess. That's not the right word, but it's the closest thing I can think of without stalling this. But I think Killua appreciates, like I said, that, and I think the fact that Gon is strong and loyal and, like, basically all these good things, and so Killua immediately bonds them and doesn't completely get why Gon is as loyal to Leorio and Kurapika as he is. Like, a lot of times it's like, oh, just leave him behind, because, like, he sees them as weaker than them. But he'll help out Leorio and Kurapika because Gon wants to. Although I think he does respect Kurapika more out of the two, personally. Like, I don't think he has any respect for Leorio, but that's fine. But yeah, and the things that we find out is that Killua is from a family of assassins, and he ran off because he doesn't want to be an assassin. And, like, he's talking about how he's like he's the one that's supposed to have the most potential in his family, and how he's like he scratched up, like he's attacked his mom and brother and like scarred up her face and such, and like how he's very nonchalant about that. So yeah, and we do encounter Killua's family, but yeah, those are the main characters. Killua is definitely he's similar to Kurapika in that he's very good at strategizing, but like he's more so like straight up cunning. Like if I'm going back to the Yu Yu Hakusho kind of analogy, he's kind of like Hiei, where it's like he is vicious and like he is smart, but he's also a lot of times like, oh, I should have gotten you in one hit. And like I think also the fact that he's fast and a lot of times he does appear to be the strongest one in the group is actually that is actually pretty accurate. He is kind of like Hiei of the group. Yeah. Actually, yeah, that is actually really good analogies. Yeah, Gon is kind of like Yu Yu Hakusho, except not all the attitude and such, but just like how like he has all this potential and such. Like, so picture Yusuke without all the like, but with a more Goku-esque personality. So that would basically be and then Leorio is totally the Kuwabara. Oh my god, that's a perfect analogy. Anyways, sorry, gotta keep going. The other major character who I am weirdly fascinated with, even though I know he's such a creepy character, is Hisoka, who is basically a creepy... He's not, I mean, I call him the creepy clown, but he's not really a clown. He's more so like a jester type of thing, where like he has like one eye like painted with like an eye drop, and like the other one with, and, like he does like, he throws cards, and he does like magic tricks type of things, but he is very vicious, and like everyone can just sense his aura of wanting to kill. And the thing is that he's impressed by Gon, because I think he doesn't attack, he doesn't like killing people who are just weak and beneath him, like it's not interesting to him. He sees all the potential in Gon. He's looking forward to when Gon is ripe enough. And you can definitely tell that there's a sexual element, which I know was very off-putting for most people, but honestly it amuses me so much. Because like he actually kind of saves Gon at one point during the Hunter's exam, and Gon is not happy having to repay debt, and yeah, but basically like he is the person that everyone is scared of in the Hunter's exam. Like they are terrified at the idea of having to go up against him head to head, because he is clearly a dangerous threat. And the thing is that he has abilities that make him very adaptable, so he's very much a trickster, and he's hard to read. His motives are unclear, but yeah, he wants a challenge, and he's willing to kind of like wait for someone to develop properly. But he also like will get frustrated when he doesn't get a chance to, when he was going to do a kill and someone like basically thwarts him, then he kind of like goes more into this like unfocused, I need to kill something stage. So yeah, he's a very fascinating character. I don't know why. I think there is, as I said, I think there is a bit of a sexual element. I wouldn't say he's necessarily a straight up pedophile, but he definitely does talk about how like thinking about Gon when he's ripe, like and ready, gets him so excited. Like he does say like, I'm excited. And there's a point where I'm pretty sure there was a swing sound effect. So yeah, but I weirdly love Hisoka. He's creepy, but he's so fascinating. I wouldn't say he's necessarily the straight up villain, because the group does sometimes work on him, but he's definitely an adversary. It's probably closer to like how Inuyasha, like Sesshomaru is an adversary, but sometimes an ally, except Hisoka is more clearly evil and creepier, but that's my best off the top of my head analogy. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy. Let's see. I'm rewatching. I've only gotten, farthest I've ever gotten was partway through the Chimera Ant arc. I'm currently in the tail end of second season when they're dealing with the Phantom Troop. I have it so at the point where Gon and Killua have been taken as hostages. So that, for those of you familiar with the series, that gives you an idea. But yeah, it's awesome. It's fun. It's very unique. It's definitely fun and actiony. But yeah, if you don't like, it's a little bit more violent than I think some people might expect. But it's so creative. Anyways, until next time, hope you guys enjoy. Continue enjoying your own geeky devices, and see you guys next week. All right, bye.